What is going on, IF Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about when does intermittent fasting not work. Wait a second, Edward, you already did a video like this. No. This is not when it stops working or when it's not working for you and what to do. This is if you have specific goals and you want to use intermittent fasting to complete those goals, and intermittent fasting will not complete those specific goals no matter how much you try. I'm going to talk about 4 specific high-ranking questions that a lot of people ask me regarding intermittent fasting and if intermittent fasting can help them do these specific things. And I'm going to go ahead and tackle that in this video. Stay tuned. Okay, first thing, I want to thank our proud sponsors, Flex Pro Meal. If you're struggling with counting calories and counting macros, look no further. They deliver the meals right to your doorstep. All you got to do is heat them up, takes less than 3 minutes, and you'll be all set. They even have a keto diet menu and so much variety in meals. You cannot go wrong with Flex Pro Meals. You can use them to give yourself the calorie and the macro peace of mind. Link will be down in the description, and if you use the promo code FLEDGE20, you'll get 20% off your entire first order. Now moving on to the video. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is eating junk food. A lot of people tell me, well, I love intermittent fasting. It lets me eat junk food. You can eat what you want to a certain extent, but eating junk food in and of itself, simply because you're doing intermittent fasting and you're containing it in a small window, you're still going to be lacking the nutrients that you need that come from normal foods. Protein, the complex carbs, the fats, the vitamins, the minerals. You're going to be lacking those specific nutrients that you need that comes from regular food. Don't use intermittent fasting as just a get out of jail free card and then just go berserk and do whatever you want in terms of what you're eating. Yes, there's more leniency because you're compressing that. So if it's going to affect you negatively, you're compressing it to a small window, so it isn't going to affect you as if you were eating those things throughout the day, obviously. But it still doesn't give you a get out of jail free card where you can eat whatever you want and no matter what you do, you're going to get good results. Obviously, the calorie counting still has to be there, but if you also just eat junk food, your body's not going to be in its most optimal health range. You still want to focus on healthy eating and eating clean, and yeah, of course you can throw in things that you like and that you have cravings for, whatever it is, but try to still think of it as being healthy. This is still part of your fitness and health journey. So I wanted to clear that out of the way first, so then we can move on to the other topics. The second thing that I want to touch on is people using intermittent fasting specifically to build more muscle. Now, it's not that you can't build muscle on intermittent fasting. It's not that you won't protect muscle because of the hormonal aspects of intermittent fasting. It tends to tackle the body fat more predominantly than it does the muscle tissue. But some people have a misconception of intermittent fasting actually enhancing the muscle building process, and that's not the case. It's not going to be more or less than when you don't do intermittent fasting in terms of building muscle. As long as you get your calories and protein in at a certain amount, dependent on your body weight and how much you want to build, it's going to build relatively at the same clip. I understand that intermittent fasting is fantastic, and we have broken so many boundaries with the new studies that have released in the past years, but please understand that it isn't something that enhances muscle building. It puts you on the same playing field. It doesn't enhance muscle building, but it is really good for muscle retention. Now, the third thing that I'm going to touch on is people who just want to use it to lose weight and then go back to eating normally. You can't do that. It's not going to be beneficial. You might lose weight, yes, when you initially do intermittent fasting. You might get to the goal weight, but then you're going to gain all the weight back. Every single thing you select, even if it's not intermittent fasting, every single thing that you choose to do has to be something that you can do forever, because that is the only way you will maintain the success that you had from doing the protocol to begin with. And intermittent fasting is no different. If you want intermittent fasting to work for you, then you have to do it in the long term. You have to not only lose the weight, but also maintain the body that you have. Or if you go up a little bit, you can go back down a little bit. If you go down a little bit, you can go back up a little bit. You have to be able to play within that range and completely forget about, like, if you were really big, if you were someone who had a lot of weight, you have to get as far away from being in that position as much as you can. And if you just use it, you get to a weight that you're comfortable with, you're good, and then you want to go ahead and just go back to eating normally as if you were fine, which the proof is in the way your body was. How was your body before doing intermittent fasting? If your body wasn't where you wanted it to be before doing intermittent fasting, don't go back to what you were doing before. You might think that you'll be able to tame your eating habits, but if you weren't able to do it before going into intermittent fasting, with intermittent fasting being the X factor that helped you lose the weight that you lost, then why do you think that you would be able to do it after intermittent fasting? So always try to create the best eating time frame, the best eating window, the most comfortable for your lifestyle. What's easier for you to do in terms of if you want to eat in the morning, if you want to eat at night, if you want to eat in the middle of the day, whatever works for you. Try to get the most comfortable regimen and then stick with that regimen so that you never have to fall out of doing intermittent fasting. And here's another one that I want to touch on is when people extend their fast for multiple days just to lose a specific amount of weight and then go back to normal intermittent fasting protocol. Let me explain something. You want to be efficient. You don't want to continuously fast for multiple days. There's even a study that shows that fasting for 5 days consecutive raises your cortisol level, and your cortisol level is what holds on to weight. Also, there have been studies that show after a 48-hour mark, there tends to be diminishing returns, and the links to those studies will be in the description below if you're curious. But you have to understand the effectiveness of intermittent fasting. Simply not eating for multiple days, yes, you're going to lose weight because you're automatically at a major caloric deficit. You're not losing weight because of the fasting protocol, you're losing weight because of the fact that when you're fasting, you're not eating anything. With intermittent fasting, you're actually eating every single day. You're getting your calories in every single day. You're getting your nutrients and your minerals in every single day. You're being very effective with the system of intermittent fasting. You're getting the benefits of intermittent fasting while still maintaining the health elements that come from having food in your system, having vitamins, nutrients, minerals, all of those essential things that you need on a daily basis, but you're still getting the benefits that come with fasting. The regulating of the hormones, the autophagy, the lowering of the insulin, the reduction in oxidative stress, the HGH increase, all of those elements are still firing and working towards giving you a better position within your body and health. If you fast for a long time, yes, you're going to get the autophagy factor. That's going to continue to increase because that just increases the longer you fast. But everything else will be moving slower. But not only that, your cortisol levels will start going up at a very high level, and that's something that you don't want to do. Any range between 16 to 48 hours are fine, but then after that, you're not getting the most bang for your buck. Yes, you're going to lose weight faster. Yes, that's going to happen because of the caloric deficit factor and where you're not eating anything. So yeah, you might be side by side with someone who's doing the 16-8 and say, hey, look, my thing works better because I've lost more weight than you quicker. They're losing weight a little bit slower than you are, but they're doing it in a sustainable fashion, because what you have to do is once you get to your weight, you have to revert, and it's not going to feel natural for you to do that after you were doing an extended fast. And if you were raising your cortisol levels and you were affecting your basal metabolic rate because of the severe calorie restriction, it's going to still be much harder to live in this zone where you're actually doing the intermittent fasting protocol, as opposed to someone who lost the weight using their intermittent fasting protocol and all they have to do is continue the regimen moving forward. So those are the 4 things that people have asked me continuously. Oh, I'm going to extend my fast. Oh, I want to use intermittent fasting just for this short period of time. What do you think? I want to use it to build muscle. I want to be able to eat whatever I want, junk food, anything. Can I do that with intermittent fasting? Those questions I get a lot, and I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that these things that I've talked about aren't going to work the way that you think that they're going to work, although there has been misinformation floating around in regards to those topics. Thank you for watching the video, guys. There are links to the studies that I was referencing down in the description below if you need any information on that. And of course, I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon. I'm going to put their names right up here. course, as always, guys, I'll see you on Sunday for another FAQ. Peace!